That's what I need.
I'm Mike Addict. You know, something came to my mind, reflected back when I was new. This is out of one of our books. It says, "Do we really want to be rid of our resentments, our anger, our fear? Many of us cling to our fears, doubts, self-loathing, or hatred because there's a certain distorted security in familiar pain. It seems safer to embrace what we know than to let go of it for fear of the unknown." You know, and when I get here, it really is true. They're asking me to let go of the life that at least I know how to handle it, you know. I know how to handle the legal system. I know how to handle these dealers. I know how to handle all this bullshit. But they're asking me to let go of it on some kind of hokey faith, believe that I believe or some shit, you know. And I'm thinking it's not even something that's comprehensible to me, because I can't comprehend staying off drugs and alcohol for, 5 days, let alone for 5 years that I'm listening to the dude share that he says he's got. You know, sometimes a newcomer can relate more to somebody with 30 days than he can to somebody with 30 years. It's incomprehensible. Although all it takes is one day at a time to get there. But when I think about what they're asking me to do, it is what an order I can't go through with. And when I remember the question that I used to ask myself, do I have what it takes? Because many of us, not many people, get sober the first time and stay sober. Some folks have a couple of white chips in their pocket. Let's just say that. Stubbed our toe a couple of times, and I may have accumulated a history of failures that I'm saying, well, what's the fucking use? I don't know if I have what it takes. And that concept of not knowing that I have what it takes, reminds me of a joke that I heard, and I'll follow that up with proof that we do have what it takes, because I think a newcomer needs to hear they have what it takes. It's one thing to sing the Addicts National Anthem, "I'll Never Do It Again." We've all done that. And there's a certain comfort in having that frothy emotional appeal. I've got to do this. I mean, look what I just can't go back. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. Look at this trust she put in me. I can't let her down. I mean, I've heard it all. And that feeling fades. And I find myself, if I'm not careful, back in here, not even realize I've written checks my ass couldn't cash. But there is a hopeful side of this, and I'm going to share this with you because I know there's a lot of newcomers in here, and they probably more than I realize asking, I don't know if I have what it takes. Do I have what it takes? There's an old joke by a guy that's dead now. It was big when I was a kid. Richard Pryor was telling a joke about he was on the stage. He was doing a skit. And he was trying to get a job on stage, and he's playing the guy that's looking at his resume, and he's playing himself, and he's playing the guy that's looking at the resume, and he says, "Mr. Pryor, I don't know if you're responsible. I don't know if you're what we're looking for. I don't know if you're dependable." And then he plays himself, and he says, "What do you mean I'm not dependable? For the last 5 years, I've had a $500 a day drug habit. I ain't missed a payment." Now, you may think, well, that has very little to do with recovery. He's talking about not missing a payment doing drugs. But what does it say to me? What it says to me is that there's an amount of energy that I would expend out there to not miss that payment. Right. There were links that I would be willing to go to that I wouldn't be proud of after the fact, but I'd be willing to go to lengths to not miss that payment. Now, if I have that energy and I've used it in that direction, when I come in here, that same energy is looking to be used. And so the answer to the question is, do I have what it takes? There ain't no fucking doubt. Because everybody in here is not only saying the Addicts National Anthem, "I'll never do it again," and probably used again after that shit, But everybody's not missed a payment out there. So that same energy is there. I've just failed in the past to use it in the appropriate direction. We have a book that we use, the big book Alcoholics Anonymous, and in the back there's a story, Dr. Bob, one of the founders, and he talks about, and he backs up what I'm saying. He says, if I put half the zeal into this that I put into using and drinking, my Heavenly Father won't let me down. That means just half the energy. You know, another part of the 12 and 12, it talks about, let no one say that this program takes no willpower. Here is one place it may take all you've got. You know, so I'm not talking about willpower just to say no. I've proven that just saying that doesn't keep me from using. I eventually buy into the bullshit and a friend calls and it's always free. Not. You know. But it's talking about that energy. And if I'm willing to accept that that energy's there, if I'm willing to put myself on stage with that guy and say, you know what, I've not missed a payment either. And that energy is there. And I really want to change my life. Not just to fucking get the heat off till I get this fucking slip signed or till she calls me back or I get the license back or I get that court date and they say dismissed, now I can go get high. A lot of people got these reservations floating around in the back of their head. But I'm talking to the one that really wants to quit. That's really serious. That really wants to change their lives. That's the ones I'm talking to. And that's not everybody in here, believe me. I've sat in the same chair. I remember homeboy when he was here in 93. He may not recognize my face, but I recognize him in an instant. So, what I'm telling you is if you're new, like I was new, I needed somebody to tell me I had what it takes. Because I was doubting it very seriously. The real question is, will I take that energy and put it in this appropriate direction? Will I work these steps even if I don't really believe in what they're saying right now? Will I do these things even though I don't understand why I'm doing this? Will I let go of that sick pleasure and familiar pain and step out just for once in my life into the unknown? Because I've already proven what doesn't work. I need to try something. And it's scary, I know. I've been there. You know, they say don't make any major changes for the first year. By the way, change every fucking thing about your life. I mean, it's the bait and switch of all time. It's the goof of all time. You know, and it's, you know, all these things they start sharing, you know, and you're thinking, man, that book is so thick. I don't read too good as it is. You know, but I promise you that if you just start with step one, find somebody that is willing to take you through the book, and do a few simple things. Maintain a certain simple attitude. And follow a few simple rules that we have here. You know, you say, I don't like rules. Well, you know, one of them is try not to go to a meeting high. That sounds like a reasonable rule, doesn't it? I mean, it's not really a rule. I think it's about honor and respect at some point. You know, and the more I exhibit honor and respect, the more I feel better about myself because, you know, there's, at least for the first time, something I can really believe in. In a path that's really going somewhere. You know, and I see people that's been on that path that was just like me, that have accomplished things in their life. You know, and I'll end with this. You know, I can't tell you how many things that I used to enjoy to do when I was out there. And this disease took it away from me. Hobbies, dreams, goals. And then I found myself repeating the same old mantra. Someday I'll do that. Someday. I'll do that someday. Well, when I got when the monkey on my back and the dope man in my pocket, someday never comes until I make it a today. And what I have found in recovery is if I pick up some of those old dusty things that the disease has taken from me, that has dust on them, it's been so long. I don't care if it's guitar, taking Fred Astaire dance lessons, I don't care what it is. If I make some of those some days and pick them up in recovery and do everything I can to make it a today and attribute that to recovery, recovery starts meaning something to me. I need something tangible I can sink my teeth into. And when I start turning them dreams into some reality, and say it wasn't dope that made that happen. It was recovery that made that happen. And I'm less liable to just throw it away, because nothing that I was ever given my parents that I didn't have to work for, I never gave a shit about it. I just throw it away. I left the bicycle outside in the fucking rain, but the first time I bought me one, by God. You feel me?
That's right.
So it's only the effort that I put into this that gives it its value. Not believing somebody in a room tells you it's valuable. But it's time for me to step the fuck up. And if I'm in a place where there's a lot of people, you know, you're going to see them come and go, it's going to be tough, because peer pressure is a biatch. And walking the right path sometimes is a lonely path in here.
That's right. That's right.
So you're going to have to face that demon, and you're going to have to say, "Get thee behind me, Satan. You're a fucking offense to me." And I've had those friends come from me from the past, and I said, "I ain't about it. You can step." And when you hear yourself say that, you all of a sudden realize you're worth more than that bullshit that's trying to pull you back into disillusionment. I just wanted to throw this out here and throw out some experience, strength, and hope. I'll pass.
I'm Cam, I'm an addict.